everybody. Steve Olson here, Chief Real Estate Officer of the Peak Group, and I am joined by a fantastic guest, Mr. Jimmy Moore, who heads up development for the Peak Group in the Birmingham, Alabama market. Jimmy, say hello or howdy or whatever you do in Birmingham. Educate us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Steve. Excited about talking through all things Birmingham and Alabama and sharing a little bit about what we're doing here with everyone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, this is just intended to kind of give a quick overview for everybody's understanding. A number of years ago, when the Peak Group had some institutional partners, they had acquired a builder, aka Jimmy and his crew in Birmingham, Alabama. And it's a market that we really love because it has a lot of the very good characteristics of the growth that we're seeing in the Sun Belt without so much of the institutional pricing, right? You know, you get the big funds that come into Atlanta or Tampa, or, you know, and they run these markets up and they make it really, really competitive. Birmingham has a lot of those economic characteristics without the insane competition from the institutions. What do you think about that, Jimmy? Did I butcher it, or does that sound accurate?
No, I'd say that's very accurate. And we really feel like there's still a good runway in front of us, exactly how you just described, with all the economic indicators, showing favorable numbers and also still good opportunity for investors to own good assets here.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got good job growth and affordable real estate. I just wanted to highlight really quickly the expense ratios of Birmingham, and maybe you can comment on job growth and kind of what's happening with development in the area. But, you know, at the Peak Group, we do a lot of work in the state of Texas. It's near and dear to us. We love it. One thing people hate about Texas is you switch the vowels around and you get taxes. So property taxes are very high in Texas. Not so the case in Birmingham, Alabama. Alabama is known to be one of the lowest tax rates in the country. And so your expense ratios are quite low when it comes to operating single family and small multifamily properties. But Jimmy, what's happening in general in the Birmingham MSA when it comes to economic growth? What do you see in there?
Yeah, so I always love kind of sharing this and answering that question with folks that are new to Birmingham, new to Alabama. First time you and I met, we had the very similar conversation just so I can kind of showcase what's going on here. And, you know, I would say over the last 10 years, Birmingham, particularly has had just a great renaissance within kind of the urban growth back in the downtown area. I wouldn't call us a tech hub. We're not going to be San Francisco or in Austin, but we've had some really good companies that were founded here and had some exits, and those founders have reinvested in some incubators that are now producing multiple companies that are scaling up and obviously attracting good talent here, good moderate to high paying talent, and then some other exits that have come from that. So that's kind of the economics of maybe the downtown sector, which is when you look at Birmingham MSA, what I would kind of call the hub in most cities. You look at that, if you're thinking of a target, that's kind of the bullseye. And then, if you go out beyond the downtown area, which is really where we primarily focus our projects, we believe that that's where there's a vacuum of great opportunity in those secondary and tertiary kind of, municipalities that are 20 to 25 minutes outside of downtown, good access to interstates, and then job growth in those areas as well. That's really where we focus, and I see the big opportunity for us and our clients and investors over time. We've got auto manufacturing has really taken off here in Alabama, but primarily around Birmingham MSA to the east of town. We have a Honda plant, and that's in full motion. Obviously, you got all the tier one suppliers. Then on the west side of town, we've got a Mercedes manufacturing plant, which is the only Mercedes plant in North America. And then obviously all the suppliers off of that. And those manufacturing facilities are all bringing EV lines on board, and you've got all the battery plants that come from that. And then, kind of surrounding those areas, we just really have a big growth of manufacturing, distribution, and logistics centers. I could kind of go on naming names, but in the last 3 to 5 years, that's really been a big growth on the western part of town where we're focusing right now. Lots of good companies moving in, building massive facilities, just being able to get affordability on land and taxes, as you mentioned, which is just, obviously attracting good job growth on good paying jobs in these areas. So it's really kind of a good recipe for all things real estate investing, and we're seeing the growth not slowing down right now.
Well, that's very good. Yeah, I had read that I think that Honda plant manufactures the majority of the Honda models for all of North America. I think there might be one or two other plants that do a few, but I had read, I think it was the Honda Odyssey and a couple of the other models. Are you aware of that, or is that news to you? I kind of hit you with that out of nowhere.
No, that's exactly what I understand as well. I actually got a chance to tour that facility about 4 years ago, and it was just fascinating. My first time to ever tour, an assembly line, and just in itself, that was fun. But my understanding is that that plant produces the Odyssey and the Ridge line for North America, as you said, and it's a massive, massive facility. And and Birmingham's just really has a unique interstate system as well. We've got I-65 that runs through town, goes all the way down to the Gulf Coast and up to Chicago. We've got I-20, which runs through town, and it kind of comes from the New Orleans area all the way up to Atlanta. So from a distribution, logistics, manufacturing, it's not only do you have, good cost of living, affordability on land for these companies to move in and build their plants, but you've also got the interstate systems for, all things distribution as well. So that's something else that's, really helped spark the growth.
Got it. Got it. So let's talk about two things, and they're kind of related, because to somebody not from Birmingham, if they're just kind of browsing the internet really quick, or they see some of these sensational TikTok videos, I noticed one thing is some people talk about how Birmingham is high crime and one of the murder capitals of the world. Yeah, I did not observe that. I did not get murdered when I went to Birmingham. You have yet to be murdered. So, but talk to me about that. Why would that pop up in the news? Is that the reality on the ground, or is it a little more nuanced than that? I kind of put it on the tee for you to hit, but go ahead.
Yeah. So great question. And I would say that, it's obviously every city is going to have pockets, right? Every city is going to have areas that are just kind of known for, we're never going to go there and buy 20 acres and do a development. And these areas that I'm referencing that every city has, the population's so low in these municipalities or these zip codes in particular that, if you look statistically on like crime per capita, that's why it kind of shows up on some reports. But I would say, and being a Birmingham native my entire life, I know really kind of every square mile of Birmingham and all the pockets and the suburbs and the over the mountain neighborhoods versus kind of the infill areas downtown and these little pockets that I'm referencing. It's very, very, very isolated, and I would say that it's a very safe city. We get out and walk downtown. They're actually building a really spectacular new amphitheater right north of town. Actually broke ground last week. It's a Live Nation amphitheater that is right in the heart of downtown. So there's a lot of growth in those areas. And I would say crime is no different than really any other city of our size. And it's just it's not a big issue.
So in short, it can be a little misleading because it's per capita on a few neighborhoods. but in reality, the overall MSA, and that's the feeling I got, is it is a safe one. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the low unemployment and the job growth that we're experiencing. Is that a fair summary?
That's a very fair summary, and anyone could take me to their own city and probably say, Jimmy, this is an area you want to avoid, and that's really all it is. It's definitely misleading. It's a safe city. I would say that we've had really a great renaissance, and even a couple areas that previously weren't so great have been cleaned up, and you are seeing growth in those areas. It's just kind of the remaining ones. It's definitely misleading.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find what you want in statistics for good or bad. I live in the Salt Lake City metro, and I saw a report about terrible crime in Salt Lake the other day, and I don't know what they're talking about. So
Yeah,
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 it's very nuanced. Now
absolutely.
another thing, crime. I wanted to talk for a minute too, Jimmy, about steel. Birmingham is known to have been a big steel town for many years. And what I found interesting, I think you and I were driving from the northeast side of the metro down to one of Peak's projects on the southwest side of the metro.
Hmm.
And I saw a bunch of big steel mills, and some of them looked completely abandoned, like that's where I'd want to film a zombie apocalypse movie. And
Yep.
others, like they were kind of waking up, like they were getting retrofitted. What's going on with steel in Birmingham right now?
Yeah, great question. It's funny you say that because we actually have had some movies filmed here over the last couple of years using
Oh,
those facilities. So that's actually been a thing, which is kind of fun to see. But to answer your question, so I would say it's maybe the early '80s. A lot of these facilities, were just kind of shutting down or pulling back, and there was a lot of kind of acquisitions of steel companies going on at that time and moving some stuff offshore, where these facilities really, operated for 30 to 50 years. And kind of that generation, that was really the big growth at the time. I mean, we're called the Steel City. Um, and so that kind of went away. But what we're seeing right now is a lot of those furnaces are actually coming back to life, to your point. And, I can't really speak to the new technology, but what's happened is with all the new technology and just the efficiencies of electric furnaces and those type, instead of having old coal burning furnaces, those are coming back online, and we're actually seeing those things firing back up, job growth coming back to those areas as well, and that's been really neat. And I would say that we're going to continue to see that from everything that I've kind of read. U.S. Steel's, the primary owner of the majority of those. Their plan is to fire back up as many as possible.
And kind of that just general trend of a lot of manufacturing and supply being brought, if not into the Western Hemisphere, but into America itself. Birmingham's probably one of those towns that stands to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can see the map of the Birmingham MSA here, and we've called out two peak projects, and these are small to mid-sized B2R communities of fully detached single-family homes. Why don't we start, because we're running out of homes there, but talk to us about Woodland Ridge and Margaret, Alabama, and that area. What's happening there? How close is it to employment? Why would tenants live in Woodland Ridge? And just your general comments about that, Jimmy.
Yeah, yeah. So we really do love this side of town. I'll just kind of reference as on the screen there where it's identifying our neighborhood of Woodland Ridge. And that's in a municipality called Margaret. And if you look at where that's located, number one, just geographically with the interstate systems, you can see to the north there I-59, and to the south I-20. And it's not showing on this map, but that's St. Clair County. So that's a county directly to the east of the county that Birmingham sits in, which is Jefferson County. St. Clair County is a county-based school system. Each city has its own elementary school, but they all kind of feed to the secondary and high schools at the county level. And the school system is just a fantastic school system. So that's really kind of an area that we focus on the east side of town. As we mentioned earlier, you can hop on interstate to the north or the south. You can be really kind of anywhere, job opportunities are within 15 to 25 minutes. You can be in downtown Atlanta in an hour and 45. So there's a lot of kind of logistic favorable opportunities there. And then the school systems are great. So we see that as an opportunity. We can still get access to land and neighborhoods and deals in that area. So that's really why we like that side. And then, to kind of comment on the opposite side here, which is the western part of town where Pinewood Trace is located. That is in Jefferson County, which is the county Birmingham sits in. But we're seeing, I would say, probably 2 to 3x the growth on this side of town than we're really seeing anywhere else right now. So if you look at Concord, where Pinewood Trace sits, directly to the south there of Hueytown, and directly to the south of that, you see I-20 and Bessemer McCalla area. I probably every 2 weeks in the local business journal, there's an announcement of either, a manufacturing facility coming back online, or, brand new manufacturing facility being announced or completed. So we're just really seeing the great growth over there. And so that's really kind of why we like both of those parts. There's still great job growth on the eastern part of town as well. Just wanted to kind of distinguish between the two.
Gotcha. It seems like both of these submarkets and the property types, we're looking for young families that have kids that they want to be in those school districts. They want a yard. They want to be able to drive to downtown and a lot of those flashier amenities, but they want that suburban lifestyle, and they're going to rent to get it. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, definitely fair. Accessibility to jobs and, kind of the flashy parts, as you mentioned. I call them bedroom communities, good school systems, safe communities, have grocery stores and all the pharmacies and all those amenities inside the municipality within, 3 to 10 minute drive, but then you're within 15 to 25 on access to jobs. And so that's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So right here, you can see one of the homes that was recently built. We sent out we got asked to send out a contract on this one yesterday, but this is a home in the Woodland Ridge community, and this is called the Cedar Plan. Give us a quick summary of this plan and talk to us about rents and some of the other info that you're seeing there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cedar Plan has really turned out to be, I'm gonna say probably my personal favorite, and it just works really well for a lot of different reasons. Anytime we go to a community, we want to look at the highest and best use for, that development or those particular lots. From an efficiency standpoint, can we build a house that flows well? We can control our cost on it, but yet it's a great floor plan for the resident. And I would say that the Cedar Plan checks all of those boxes. It's a larger plan, big vaulted ceilings in the great room, open concept, which we do in all the houses, open concept to the dining and the kitchen area. But this one in particular is a split level. So, looking at the picture here, you walk in that front door to the right, go up those couple of steps, and you're in that living room with big vaulted ceilings. It just feels really grand. Obviously, you got your kitchen and your dining room there, but you can walk upstairs, as you see in that picture on the bottom left, to the 3 bedrooms and 2 baths upstairs. It's got a great master suite with big walk-in closet, obviously its own bathroom, and then the 2 other bedrooms with a hall full bath. And then downstairs you have an additional den or office or playroom, just fill in the blank. So this one really kind of checks all the boxes, not only for us on our end from a cost standpoint, being able to control that for the investor, but it's just really in high demand with tenants as well. So we really, really, really love this plan.
Yeah, and you can see one of the key figures that we have on it is that interest rate. If you're investing in the market as Jimmy and I have this discussion now, that interest rate of 5.25 is not happening in the true market, but we've initiated a forward commitment with our lending team to be able to cram that rate down into a true 30-year fix. And there's no gimmicks with it. It's not adjustable. It's not a balloon payment. It's a true 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which I think bears mentioning here. So right here, we've got kind of I don't want to call it a heat map, but you can see some of the employers and amenities in the area. You can see the Peak Woodland Ridge community there in Margaret. You can see where the Honda plant is. Is that Honda plant technically, is that in Talladega? Oh, wait, no, Talladega is to the south.
Yeah, Talladega is to the south. It actually it is in Talladega County, but it sits in a municipality of Lincoln. And it's about a mile and a half off of the interstate, which is I-20 right there. So it's from Woodland Ridge community, you're 20 to 25 minutes to the Honda plant. And we actually do have several residents that live in the community and work there.
Gotcha. And that's a good segue here. So could you expand on those residents a little bit above and beyond Honda plant and families? Anything else to add to that?
It's really interesting. I get the opportunity to meet the majority of our residents, and I always ask, what brought you here? What do you do? And I really see just a mix. I mean, we've got retirees that want to move back and be closer to grandkids. We've got young couples that are just starting families. And just, hey, my husband works at the Honda plant. We wanted to be closer, and we like the school system here. So it really is a good mix, is what we're seeing in our kind of resident profile.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're about to the end here, Jimmy. There's a few other things I wanted to cover. Number one, Jimmy and I were chatting before we started recording today about Pinewood Trace, which is Peak's next single family project coming. And I think, did I hear you say they're pouring concrete slabs at Pinewood Trace now?
Yeah, we actually yesterday started forming up the pads and got to get all the plumbing roughs in. But yeah, concrete has been ordered, and probably this time next week we'll have several pads and framing packages on their way.
Perfect. Any difference to the floor plans, or are we going to do same floor plans as up in Woodland Ridge?
We're going to do the same in Woodland Ridge. It's going to be a mix of, as we had just talked about, the cedar plan that's very desirable, and then some other plans as well that are just as desirable, but a little bit smaller, just to accommodate those families. So it's going to be a mix. We have kind of looked at it from a standpoint of, from absorption, having a great mix, and it works really well.
Yeah, so he's talking about everybody. We don't have it on here, but another plan, which is a single level, right? It breathes really well, open concept.
Yeah.
A few square feet less and a few $100 less in rent. So catering to that tenant. And then good news, Jimmy, you were at the city of Bessemer, yes, on Tuesday night. Tell us real quickly about what happened there and what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. That was exciting to get that behind us. We've still got some work to do, but we think we can move through it pretty quickly. And this particular project's one that we've identified and we're real excited about. That would be in the McCalla area on that map we had looked at earlier. And right now we're looking at I believe it's going to be right around 70 townhome doors that will be a duplex product, probably right around 1,250 to 1,300 square foot. And not only will that community, all the job growth and everything that's going on great around there, but we feel like this product is going to be unique to that part of town for this price point of resident. We've done a lot of research with our other projects and a few other developments, and we're really trying to target this in. And that meeting Tuesday night was a rezoning meeting to allow us to have this particular product, which is going to hit a rent price point that's in high demand on that side of town.
Yes, duplexes are near and dear to my heart, so we're excited for that one.
Yeah,
probably going to be able to start rolling that out to our investor community in the next couple of months. But in the meantime, everybody, we We hope you'll join us in either Pinewood Trace or in Woodland Ridge. And I want to thank Jimmy for his time here today. He gets some much needed time off next week. Appreciate it, Jimmy. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.